everyone. Welcome to Pause Talk once again. Pause Talk is all about taking that pause. And if you've already in pause, then how you can come out of that pause. And what is the meaning of that pause? And what are different types of pauses that people take? So today we have an expert on talking of all of this. And today we are going to really understand the real meaning of pause and how being mindful, we can really be living a life of happiness and fulfillment. So I welcome today Sunita Lama. Welcome, Sunita.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's such a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
So Sunita comes from the pristine hills of Darjeeling, India. She holds a master's degree in English language and literature. She is also a postgraduate diploma in teaching of English from CIEFL Hyderabad, India, and certificate in teaching English language to adults from CELTA from Cambridge University, UK. She has worked as an IELTS examiner for the British Council, Dubai, and taught for 11 years at the Higher College of Technology, Dubai campus, UAE. She has also worked as a coordinator for the English faculty at Dzongsar Chokyi Lodro Institute, a center for advanced Buddhist studies in Himachal Pradesh. She is also a certified mindfulness teacher, and she also has a degree in wellness coaching. Her journey in this field began in the year 2017. And now I will request Sunita to share her own introduction a bit, because I know it is so much that I can just continue. Yes, Sunita, please introduce yourself.
Thank you so much again. As I said earlier, thank you very much for this platform. All that I would like to say is that I am from Darjeeling, as you mentioned, and I lived in...
Can be a little louder, Sunita. Our audience would like to be hearing little louder from you. A little more louder. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, so my name is Sunita, as you've already mentioned, and I am from Darjeeling. Right now, I am based in Siliguri. I've been here for almost 4 months now, doing a lot of work in mindfulness, basically bringing about awareness on what mindfulness is and why is it important for us, especially at this time, to be mindful of ourselves, how we live, how we communicate, how we, aspire, what we aspire for, and our way forward. I have been outside India for quite a long time, and as you mentioned, I used to teach in a college there, and it was while teaching that I felt the need to start my mindfulness journey. However, it was not, at that time, it wasn't as clear as it is right now when I'm talking to you. I just felt a disconnect, like in my students. Day in and day out, I would see them coming to campus, sitting in the classroom, being there and yet not there. And that made me question myself, like, if my students are not engaged and focused, then what am I doing wrong? Right? And it was not about the subject, but it was more about the person.
Absolutely.
Being absent in your wholeness. So then what happens is you're more like a robot.
Right.
Very mechanical.
Yes.
And it was so easily visible. And when I looked deeper into it and started talking to my colleagues and people around, everyone expressed the same. It was a concern for everyone.
Right.
Yet we didn't know what should we do. And as you said, like what you see, and if your seeking is very strong and pure, the universe is very generous. And
right.
By accident, I bumped into a mindfulness summit which was online by a lady who stays in Australia. She calls herself Mrs. Mindfulness. It was for a month and it was free, and I signed up. And that was a blessing in disguise because there were 2 sessions in the morning and in the evening. And if I couldn't do it live, I could watch the recordings. And it was introduction to 60 mindfulness, personalities excelling in their field.
Yes. Yes.
How mindfulness was being applied in academics, in medical, in administration, in law, in business, and why did that come up? And that was such an eye-opener for me. And that's how it began. And there was no stopping after that. So from the 60 teachers, I kind of then started following, or I went into detailed research of those with whom I felt aligned to. Then started my own mindfulness certificate. First, it was course. I registered for the courses with a number of teachers, I think 3 of them at the beginning. And I was very sincere with my practice. That's one thing. Like right from the beginning, I was very sincere because I just felt so aligned. I just felt what I needed was there. And in that 1 month, also, there was a shift. My whole perspective, the way I walked into it was the same classroom, the same college, the same students, but my outlook had changed.
Yes.
And when your outlook changes, then the environment changes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing that, Yav, because this is a very big concern for so many teachers out there, that and even parents, and even in offices, people are physically present, but mentally they are not fully present. They are not into what they're doing. So usually people will think that mindfulness meaning that you are having your mind full, like your mind is always full. So actually people are having a lot of minds which are full of so many things. From they must be doing some work, but their mind is somewhere else, filled with so many other things. So as you were sharing just now that you mentioned that you were teaching in a college and living in Dubai, and now that you are in India and doing something completely different. Any reason for that? Like, how did it all change? You started your journey in mindfulness, and then you shifted to India, and how did it all change?
So this happened in 2017. My journey into mindfulness began then. But however, before that itself, I was very spiritually inclined. I always was seeking for something much more meaningful and deeper. So I've done a lot of other courses, like with the, I just forget the name. Well, anyway, I did the happiness courses with them. I did this silent meditation, art of living, with the art of living in Dubai. So that was there. But once the mindfulness journey began, then that is what I felt calling to, I felt aligned to, and then it went on. And after a certain point, like after about doing it consistently, very sincerely, every single day of my life, I felt I needed to share this, bring it out. In a very subtle manner, with first at my workplace with my students. And then when I saw the change, like even though, we have students who has behavioral issues, lack of focus and attention, like those we label as difficult students. But in reality, they are not difficult.
Yes, a lot of times this happens. Yes, in the class also the teacher will label children as difficult, people who are not focusing, that you are not able to focus. So the children are labeled actually. But as you were saying, that how a teacher, because she is practicing mindfulness, her perspective towards the students will also change. Yeah.
So that's what happened. Like I could see, like in implementing or bringing in mindfulness skills into the classroom changed the behavior of those students who I thought were difficult, or who I also labeled as difficult, or students who were failures, it's a big one, but yes, we do use
Yeah.
them. Then I went up to my coordinator and shared my story or my journey, and I requested if I could set up a mindfulness lab at my workplace, and she said, yes, go ahead. That was such an, it was so good on her part. Without any questioning, she said, I trust you, so go ahead. If you think this is what is going to help, you have my permission. And I went ahead, I set up a place, and then I started, sending emails to my colleagues about how I would like to offer this in my free time, and they would come. And so I did have a group of teachers who signed up. And later on, again, the feedback was very, very positive. In fact, there was one who had health issues, major health issues. Later on, she got back to me saying that had it not been for those sessions, it would have been very difficult for me to accept when I was diagnosed with something really, very serious and challenging. It was totally unexpected. So yeah, and then I felt that this is really something that we need to bring into our daily lives.
Yes.
And so once my son graduated and went to university in the States, I had actually decided I would not do a full 9-to-4 job, but I would rather go and pursue something that makes me genuinely happy, and more from the space of giving. And that's how I landed up in a monastery in Himachal Pradesh last year. I stayed there for a year, again, testing myself, yes, mindfulness is something that I am, mindfulness is something that appeals to me, and something that I can share with the deepest of my passion and heart. But is this the path for me? Right?
Yes.
That was also very important, like leaving one country, coming back to India after so many years. So for a year, I stayed testing myself. And then I was completely certain that, yes, this is my passion. This is what I can naturally, it comes out now, I can go about, and I need to bring this out. And when I thought of where, then of course it was my hometown, because as I said, now I'm in Siliguri. Siliguri is a hub for education.
Yes.
Schools, colleges, and universities here. And being an academician myself, having taught in colleges and schools earlier, I feel this is the field that I'm comfortable,
Right.
talking to. And also I feel they can understand what I'm talking about when I talk about that disconnect. So yes, that's what has brought me here, and that's exactly what I'm doing, and I feel very happy.
Yes. So that is really wonderful, that how your calling, you were able to identify that calling of yours. Maybe it was not a very traditional kind of a thing which you were doing, but it was what was the need of the hour. And as an educationist, you were able to really pinpoint that one thing in the students which was so much required for them. And it is so wonderful that you got that result. And setting up a kind of a mindfulness lab, it is an amazing thing, like how we have labs for sciences, but it is so important to have a lab for your behavior. So really understanding your behavior pattern in that lab, and which can be really proved by doing mindfulness modalities, which we do actually, meditation and stuff like that. So how we can really bring about that change is what you were able to do. And this is wonderful thing that, Sunita, you were able to bring out. And I'm sure you will be able to go to different cities now. As your world is growing up, it is not important to be sitting in one place. We would like you to travel and share all your learnings in different cities. Yeah, but for now, you took an year off and lived in a monastery. Could you share about that pause and how it impacted your life? So you actually took a radical pause. So sometimes we take a pause, which we think is going to really stop our life. We are stopping our life, and it is going to be a disruptive thing. But what I feel, and what I also do in my kind of programs is that it is a radical pause is not something which is going to disrupt or destroy or stop your life. It is where you are recharging yourself. So I'm sure you have your story to tell about the monastery. Please tell us that.
Sure. Yes, so the whole of last year I was in Himachal, and that was when I look back at that time, I feel what a blessing. Like I always say, like, we believe that we believe in karma, right? Like this definitely when because it was spontaneous, like as I said, I didn't really plan to be there. I had come back to India and I was in Siliguri. I was thinking of, yes, this is my way forward. I want to go about talking about mindfulness, bringing it into schools and colleges, but I didn't know how to do it. And it was by chance that I was asked to go to this monastery to coordinate the English program. Because a friend of mine had been working there. He's from the UK and he couldn't come because of visa issues during the pandemic. So he said, since you're in India and you already have the qualification, you'd be a good fit. So can you do that for me? And I said, why not? And I went. But that was taking that step back and being in that environment where life is naturally slow. And there are no distractions. No distractions. It's when we talk about peace, that peace that is there externally, and I'm talking about my own experience. Like I had come from a very noisy place, right? Fast-paced world. There it was slow, easy, calm, natural, green. And at the beginning, I was disrupted. I was in turmoil, thinking that how can anyone be this low? Is it even possible? Like which century are we in? So your mind can play tricks like that. And I could, that's why I call it a blessing. I had the opportunity to look at my mind for real and to understand that this is what it means when we say that monkey mind, a mind that needs to be looked into with curiosity, with non-judgment, and with a lot of care and patience. And also that was where I learned the importance of self-care. Because as I said, what would come out in that pause, everything, all the imprints that I had been carrying from that super fast world started showing up. The impact started coming up.
Right.
And for me, it was very important to then show myself love, compassion, care. And yes, it has, there were times when it was intense, and it is like meditating in silence. It's like going on a retreat. It's like going on a retreat where you're alone. Right. And you have to be resilient, develop the skills to be resilient, but accepting, walking that process, unfolding. It is perpetually unfolding the layers, looking at the layers, looking at the crevices and the cracks and the holes, and then saying, it's okay, I see the crack here, and I also see why the crack is there, and I can see what the crack, triggers it, but I'm here for it. I'm here with it. In my complete brokenness, I'm here. And I'm willing to take the pause for as long as it is needed, and that's okay. There is nowhere to go, nothing to worry about, just nothing. I'm here and wholly present. So that helped. And I mean, now so it was in the month of December when I went back to Dubai, and some of my friends, I actually went to my college again to meet my colleagues, and everybody's like, you're glowing. There is something in you, that there's something really different, and cannot be expressed. And then I came, and then again reflecting, I felt this is what it is.
Correct. Correct.
Automatically, your inner life begins to show if we take that pause to go within and allow ourselves
Absolutely.
to see. And pausing, in my understanding, is exactly that.
And moreover, what I feel also is that because we all want to take a vacation, we are in that fast-paced life, and we think that taking that a week or a 2 week vacation will help us to recharge. But what I feel is the way you went to a monastery, not everybody has that privilege or the time or the bandwidth to go to a kind of a monastery and realize that peace or unfold themselves. But how can they in their own life, wherever they are? Like, so my next question will be coming on that only, because before that, I just want to understand more a little that in a monastery, you were not allowed, you were not in touch with your own family or something, or you were just staying there itself. Like, what was it all about?
Yes, so it's a very beautiful setup, as you mentioned earlier. It's a center for advanced Buddhist studies. It's a monastic setup, but there is a complete complex for teachers. Teachers teaching different subjects, just like in any other university. So we have our own accommodation and with all the facilities. And there are no restrictions. Like if my family wanted to come and stay with me, they could have. Like there are some teachers who stay with their family. But of course, in my case, that was not possible. My son is in the US studying management, he's working in Dubai. So, and this was a conscious choice that I had made. So, yeah, I was there. But I also have to say that I'm very thankful to my family for giving me the option.
Yes.
Not stopping me,
Yes, of course. That is the most important. That you got the support from your family to take this radical pause in your life, which really recharged you, which really reframed you, so to say, into and transformed you into a kind of a person which was your calling from inside. And here you are helping others also to come to that frame. So now when I come to this question is that what do you actually mean by like pause? What is a pause really for you now? Like what does it mean to take a pause?
Yes, I think that's a very good question. So nowadays, I personally feel the word pause is hyped, and that's where we misunderstand it. So pause just means connecting with yourself, being present. It just means presence. And you don't have to go to a monastery to be present. You can be, and you don't have to even go anywhere. Like if you're in your office and you just feel too anxious, like too overwhelmed, or you're not able, your mind is not able to think clearly, there's lack of clarity, just sit. Come to your workstation, or if there's any outdoor space, go out. Have a drink, water or coffee, whatever, but be present with the drinking. Like if I'm sipping water, so really knowing that I'm sipping water, this water is clean.
Yes.
And as I'm drinking, the passage of the water, so and how it is affecting my body. Right? That's of course when I'm fully present to myself. And it can happen anywhere. And it doesn't have to be long. 1 minute.
Correct.
Depending on how you need it, where you need it, right?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you so much for sharing that. This is so simple because people will think that we are taking a break. And when we take a break, especially children will take a break and they will shift from their studies to social media. And they think that this is a break from the study and they are taking a break to go to the social media. But again, they are disconnected to themselves. As you said, no, even they were disconnected when they were studying probably. And when they are going to the social media, again, they are not connecting to themselves. But it is so important when we are taking a pause or a mindful awareness pause or a radical pause, it is important that we connect to ourselves. to our inner self. That is the most important, because everything, all the learning, all the happiness, everything lies within. So if I'm not able to do that, I'm always seeking happiness outside, in the social media, in probably doing something. Every time we are in the mode of doing, but when we are taking a pause, we are in the mode of being. So it is important to just be. That is the most important thing which we can learn from Sunita today. And so, but one thing which I have, we all understand, but to be able to be more explicit to the audience, I would like you to ask from you that how does one come to that stage of slowing down? Because everybody is running. You can see the traffic jams. Only it is the traffic jam which is helping people to slow down. Nothing is helping them to slow down. Only when they are standing in that jam, they are at rest. But that is also created because they are running, because everybody wants to be on the road. And that is what is creating that jam. So if we have that kind of a thought process in our mind, which is uh, going so fast, I feel we have that kind of traffic jams in our mind also. Those traffic jams which are causing our neurons to really bombard with each other, and that is leading to a lot of stress and different kind of diseases which are manifested in physical form, in mental form, and it is starting to affect our relationships then. So how do you think we can really take that kind of a pause which can really help us to slow down a bit? Like,
Very simple. The easiest one is you can either do sitting or standing. Stand. I suggest bare feet, but if you're in office or at work, that's not possible. But so even with your shoe, put your feet down. Right now also you can do it with me. Put your feet down on the floor, flat on the floor, and feel the feet touching the ground. You know, and as I'm feeling the feet on the ground, and whether there's a carpet within or just a paved floor, how does the feet feel? Noticing that, the sensation of touch. Right? And so what has happened? My mind, instead of thinking lost in thoughts, it's now here with
grounded.
the body, grounded. Then
Yes.
you bring your attention to, if you're sitting on a chair, the sit bones on the chair. How does the chair feel? Softness, hardness of the chair, and then the sit bone. Is there a pain? Is there discomfort? The right side is heavier than the left side. Notice that.
Yes.
Right? And then come to your hands and notice your hands. Right? The hands resting on your thighs, or on the, if you put it on the chair, the resting space for the hand. How does that feel? Yes. So it's as simple as this.
Yes.
And your mind has now moved from thinking to observing the body, being with the body. And as you do that, the anxiety begins to slow down. Your heartbeat begins to slow down, right? And you are able to become much more calmer. And it's like the water, settling. Your mind begins to settle down, thoughts begin to settle down, and what you need to do begins to become visible. Yeah,
yes.
Okay, the first thing I need to do is write an email. Let me write that email. Like earlier, if I don't know whether I have an email to write, I have to check this as a teacher, right? I have to do this, the list is endless. And then that's where I'm like agitated. So much to do. And then I'm keeping on complaining so much.
Yes.
But then leaving all of that aside, okay, take your sensation, take your attention to your feet. And then lastly, if that still is not able to calm you down, notice your breathing.
Yes.
3 times. And gently open your eyes, and then
done.
Yeah.
Yes, it is so simple. Just if you will see that how I always feel that sometimes when my pet will just shake the head, No, he's doing something and suddenly he will shake his head. So just shaking that head is like they are realigning themselves to what they really are going to do. So if we also have to shake off all the tension and all the stress which we have, we just need to sit down and shake our body, like be in your body. Focusing on your body is as if you are shifting your focus from your thinking mind to your body, which is most important. Your body is which is helping you to sustain the life. It is there to help you live. Otherwise, we cannot live if we don't. Our body is not healthy. And if the body is healthy, then mind. And of course, if mind is healthy, the body remains healthy. It is so connected. Yeah. So that is a very simple thing which Sunita just told us. And coming to understand more on her own journey, that how it is sustaining her, like how is what is sustaining her in her journey, is the cause helping her, is the students helping her, mindfulness, what is that is sustaining your journey, Sunita?
So the presence. I'm so happy, as I say, like, and I'm talking about that inner peace, that inner happiness. Okay, I'm going to be very honest here. It's not about money, you know. And I have come to realize that what really gives a person that sense of peace is, one, when you're aligned to your true purpose, and two is when you're able to share your passion with the world, and when you can, and when the feedback is, thank you, this really helped me, feel relaxed, or this really helped me get that clarity. I was not able to think clearly, but after doing this breathing exercise, I know what I have to do. Or when you're students, like you do a session for the students and we say, I thank you so much. Please come back again. Waiting for you. You know, and even parents, oh, I didn't know it was so simple. I didn't know that, I had to, I do eat food, but I didn't know that I was eating unconsciously. So doing mindful eating, I didn't know how mindful eating can be so beneficial. Simple thing, like just paying attention to my eating can bring in such a lot of benefits and well-being. So yes. So that's what sustains me. When I see how these little, that's at the core of our being, we are simple. And what we want is this, to experience this sense of peace. Right. And what we want is to be here for each other. And that connection is what is, when we are mindful, we are able to feel that connection, understand that we need each other, we are dependent on each other. The relationships are important. Right. All these values which are now lost. Right? People are beginning to realize that, no, it's not my job. I need to be here for my family. So can I make time for my family? So things like that. Yes. So knowing and helping people see and seeing their happiness makes me happy. Yes. I can see that your glow on your face shows that how happy you are doing what you are doing actually. So similarly, I can share, like when I was, and I started this pause talk also, I was just wondering, because some people were again talking about the monetary aspect of it. Like I am always trying to produce some module to do some workshops. And then suddenly I feel that, okay, instead of charging people for what I'm doing, because again, they may not understand the whole concept of mindfulness, which is again still I feel a very new concept for people who are in that fast-paced life. They don't want to invest in something which is not going to help them increase their monetary value. Because this is only going to help them in their relationships, probably peace of mind, but not in their, so it is not a skill which they are going to learn to uplift their
career, so to say. So this takes always a back seat, right? So that is why I always wonder that it is important to let people know and not bring out that kind of a money aspect in that. So and that is what really helped me to bring out this kind of talks, so that people will understand that what is this pause all about, why we need to take a pause, why even if they have that job which is not no more a 9 to 5 job. Nobody is doing a 9 to 5 job now. Nowadays, it is everybody is doing a 12 hours, 14 hours job, and they are not finding any time for themselves. So, with small pauses which they can take, they can really find that kind of a peace, improved in their relationships, improvement in their own self-esteem, self-being, which is going to help them any which way in their career or in their relationships. So it is so important for them to understand the whole concept of mindfulness, and more so of taking this kind of a radical pause, which I really want people to really understand more so. Yeah. So it was so wonderful, Sunita, to really hear about your journey. And now I want you to just give in one line some a tip, a kind of advice to our viewers who will be really appreciate that what you give today.
Savor each moment.
Hmm.
Life is precious.
Yeah.
You are precious. You are a gift. So recognize that gift. Be happy.
Yeah,
Thank
thank
you
you
so
so much. Thank you so much. I will treasure this moment which I've spent with you. I will really treasure this 35 minutes that I've shared with you. I'll really treasure this, because this has been a beautiful journey for me in this 30 minutes also. How a person who has been living a very normal, so to say, life and takes a kind of a pause. So, pause talk is not about that you take a break from whatever you are doing. The pause talk is also all about a pause in your mindset, how you are having a kind of a mindset, and how you change that mindset, transform that mindset by taking that one pause. And that pause was when you were being with yourself. So if you have had this kind of a pause in your life, you can connect with me and you can be one of the speakers here who will be sharing your journey with so many others and inspire them. So thank you so much, Sunita, once again. It was so wonderful to have you here. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank
Good
you.
luck. Good luck with this project.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.